determined to have is completely up to you. You may be on the call looking for a way of being able to generate an extra $500 a month, and you may be on the call this evening looking to generate an extra $500 an hour. And both are possible, both are doable, and I'll share that with you during the course of this evening's presentation. Thanks, Stevie. So the company is called ASEA, and ASEA is a global leader in this technology called redox signaling-based health and anti-aging technology. So the technology is actually called redox signaling molecules, and is a leader in this technology. Not only is it the global leader, it's the only company in the world that has this technology. The product and the technology is very heavily patented. There are many, many dozens, in fact, overlapping patents on this technology. So nobody else produces it, nobody else has it. I'm told that it'll be, the patents roll forward for at least 20 years, and they're rolling those forward. Corporate headquarters, you can see here, is in Utah. This is in Salt Lake City. This is the corporate headquarters. And the plant, the facility where the product is made, is also in Utah, in a place called Pleasant Grove. And I'll show you a photo of the installation during the course of the presentation. Thanks, Stevie. So these are the two gentlemen. The gentleman on the left, Vertis Norton, is one of the most incredible and significant human beings that I've ever met. His background is that he was the strategic vice president for Kraft, a $38 billion company. And there's a great little link that you can watch if you go to YouTube. And look at a link called The Genesis of ASEA, and it will explain exactly how Vertis Norton came to acquire this technology. Very significant man. He came across this technology around 2005, 2006, in that area somewhere. There's a story, I won't go through into all of that now, but what happened in a nutshell, he was invited to sit on the board of this biotech company and ended up acquiring the technology, ended up acquiring this, the redox signaling molecules technology. The gentleman on the right of screen, of course, is his son, Tyler Norton, and there's an old saying, isn't there, that fruit never falls far from the tree. And Tyler is really a chip off the old block. It's very much of the caliber of his father. We're privileged that Tyler will be here this weekend. If you're in Australia, we run our annual conference this weekend, and Tyler will be at that. And if you have an interest in this technology and want to pursue this opportunity, I'd strongly encourage you to come along to that conference. It's on the Gold Coast. So Tyler will be here tomorrow, which is very exciting for all of us that are associated with ASEA in Australia. Thanks, Stevie. So the company is, the technology is actually based on many years of research and development. The origins of understanding this technology goes back to 1998. In 1998, 3 Italian scientists won a double Nobel Prize for understanding the significance of redox molecules and what they actually did in the human body. Prior to that, it was believed that redox molecules served no purpose in the human body. In fact, they thought they were a waste out of the cells and really had no significance. All of that changed in 1998 when these 3 scientists, these 3 Italian scientists, I've long since forgotten their names, they're quite long, won the double Nobel Prize for understanding what these redox molecules do in the human body. From that date, the race was then on to see if they could produce these redox molecules outside of the human body. It was deemed impossible because they're fleeting, they're very active, and many scientists around the world said it can't be done, you can't stabilize them, it would be impossible. And after many, many years of research and an awful lot of investment dollars, finally the scientists with ASEA were able to do that. So it's based on many, many years of research and a lot of money in order to be able to stabilize these molecules. Thanks, Stevie. Company's significant growth year on year. We're now well on the J curve. The company's been operational in the world, started in the US market for 10 years, almost 10 years now, and very significant growth. We're well on the J curve. Just to give you an idea of sales in 2000, I'm going to try and go back in my memory, 2017, we were approximately 80 million, 130 million in 2018 and 173 million in 2019. And we estimate we'll reach over $1 billion within the next 5 years. That's an aggressive target. It's a very exciting target. And And of course, we're looking for people to help us to do that. We're looking for people globally to help us to drive this technology into the markets to create and help this company become a billion-dollar company. ASEA is perfectly positioned ahead of the growth that will come in the next 3 years in the health, wellness, and anti-aging industry. Very well positioned, incredible technology, and absolutely no competition. As a businessman, one of the keys that I saw was an opportunity of delivering something to market that had absolutely no competitor. It's very unique, very rarely happens, especially in this industry. So it's a very exciting opportunity for all of us. Thank you, Stevie. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see some of the top management. The gentleman in the middle at the top, here's the president of the company, Jerome Webb. He'll actually also be here tomorrow. And then in the middle row, the gentleman called Justin Wilson, he will also be here in Australia on the weekend. And so these are very fine people. I've got to know many of these people over the last 4 years. Men of very high integrity, high morals. It's a great privilege for me to be associated with these men in business. And then the right-hand side, this is a group of the Medical Advisory Board, people from a medical background, different backgrounds. Some are GPs, some are chiropractors, some are pediatric surgeons, some are different backgrounds, some are research scientists, many different occupations in the health and wellness industries that are associated with this company. A number of them have actually laid down their professional practices. Dr. David Sylvan, for example, sold his medical practice so that he could help deliver this technology to the market, and now has a massive global organization with ASEA. Thanks, Stevie. This is actually a little out of date. I think we're now into 35 countries and huge business possibilities in all of these markets. I'm told there's over 200 countries in the world. So our reach of 35 countries, we're still very much in the early stages of launching this technology into the world. And it has massive opportunities. You read down the bottom left, huge business possibilities. In all of these markets, less than 1% currently know about this technology. And that's in the markets that we're involved in. So the markets that we're not involved in, very few people in those countries would even have heard of redox signaling molecules. So the number of the countries that I should point to that should be highlighted in blue and not yet on this map here. In Asia, we have a number of countries, 6 countries already open, fully launched. One is Malaysia, one is Thailand, Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, Philippines. Might have left one out. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. So 6 countries right now that are launched into in Asia, and also one in South America that's already launched, which is Colombia. And so total of 35 countries, some massive potential. As you can see, most of the grey areas we have not yet even reached into. So the next 5 years, 7, 10 years are going to be massive for us and for this company. Thank you, Stevie. So the industry that this technology reaches into is 3 of the world's largest industries. So the products, the technology reaches into the health and wellness, as you can see in the top left, over $4 trillion worth of business yearly. And again, this is a unique product. There is nobody else that has this. So as we take this technology into these massive markets, we don't have a competitor in this space. Nobody produces redox signaling molecules. And so we intersect in 3 very large markets: health and wellness, the athletic performance, and the beauty and anti-aging. We have some of the most unique and advanced products in these industries. So very big markets, and this technology appeals and goes into all of those 3 very large, very substantial markets. Thanks, Stevie. So the products that do things that no other products can do, again, because they're the only products in the world that contain these redox signaling molecules. And redox signaling molecules, for those of you that don't know, are native to the human body. So we have these redox signaling molecules in our body. I'll show in a slide in a minute that we actually deplete production as we age. But we create these redox molecules, and now this company is able to replicate exactly outside of the human body. So redox signaling molecules that this company, ASEA, produces are absolutely identical to the redox signaling molecules that you and I have in our bodies. So it's very unique. I should mention at this stage, there are 3 separate areas of wellness products. There are those that are made chemically, pharmaceutical companies. There are those that are made in nature, so goji juice, orange juice. And then this is a new category of health and wellness products that is native, which means exactly what I just shared, that it is actually produced, redox molecules are actually produced inside the human body. So a new category of science, a new category of wellness. Thanks, Stevie. They say a picture paints 1,000 words. Interesting little story. I know this lady on the left-hand side. She's a naturopath from Norway. Her name is Reidun Bone. And interestingly, somebody many years ago sent her a tube of the Renew 28, which is the topical version of the redox signaling molecules. It looks like that. It's an external application. It's a gel. And a friend of hers from America sent her this product, this gel, and said, look, start using it on your face and make sure that you take photographs before you start using the product. Well, she started using the product. She took a photo of the top left-hand side of the screen. And a number of weeks later, 3 weeks, I think it was, after she started using the product, she phoned the lady in America. She said, look, I can't see this is doing anything for me at all, really. And the lady who sent her the tube said, did you by any chance take a photo when you started? And she said, yes, I did. And she said, have you got a photo of now? And she said, yes. And then she compared the two photos and she said, my goodness, look at the change, look at the difference. Interestingly enough, I was actually spent some time with this lady a few weeks ago in France. And this lady is now probably 5 to 7 years older than the photos on the left-hand side of the screen. And her neck is improved again, even though she's now 5 to 7 years older than these photos. Her neck is even better than that now. I actually took a photo. I said, do you mind if I take a photo? So it's incredible what this product can do. You can see visibly what the difference that the technology makes. No toxicity. You can't be allergic to it, and it can't hurt you. So a truly remarkable breakthrough. This is a skincare range. The two products on the right-hand side of the screen, the one that I've just displayed here is the Renew 28. And called Renew 28 because the skin cells recycle every 28 days. That's why it's called Renew 28. The little needle nose tube on the side of it is a serum, and that is even more concentrated. So this product is 3 to 5 times more concentrated than the supplement, than the drink, the liquid, and then the serum is even more concentrated. The two products you're seeing on the left-hand side of the photo do not contain redox molecules. The one on the extreme left is a cleanser, and the one next to it is a moisturizer. And this skincare set was produced as a result of many associates around the world asking the company to produce a complete skincare system. And this was actually released to the market in around the middle of 2016. Thanks, Stevie. And this is the marquee product. This is the drink. This was the original technology, the original product that ASEA made. And it was some 3 years later that the gel was produced, 3 or 4 years after the redox supplement was first introduced, and this is the marquee product that we distribute around the world. It is obviously a drink, so in liquid format. So the drink, the molecules you ingest, so that works on the inside out, and then the Renew 28, the gel, works from the outside in. That's ostensibly the difference between the two. So many athletes, there's lots of links that you can look up. Gentleman top left of the screen, his name is Cody Miller. He won gold medal, a US athlete, US swimmer, won gold medal at the Rio Olympics. Was it last year, the year before? Gentleman down the bottom right is a man called Eddie Hall. There's a very good link that you can look up if you'd like to look at more information on athletes. If you go to YouTube and look up the Iron Cowboy, his name is James Lawrence. And James Lawrence in 2015 competed, did 50 Ironman events in 50 days. 50 Ironman events in 50 days in 50 different states in America. I don't know if that's ever going to be done again. And amongst his regimen of vitamin supplements that he took, one of the things that he did was he drank 3 bottles of ASEA every single day while he was running through the 50 events. And he's called the Iron Cowboy. James Lawrence is his name. And you might want to look him up on YouTube. It's a very interesting story. In fact, there's a movie made of him on Netflix. You could watch it on that as well. But he was a gentleman that used the redox signaling molecules for recovery, ostensibly, so that he could continue to do another Ironman event the next day. Thank you, Stevie. So redox molecules, what are they? They're naturally produced inside every single cell in the human body. And they, if you can click on, detect cell damage so they can be repaired or replaced. And increases the cell's production of glutathione, which is the most powerful antioxidant that protects against cell damage and oxidative stress. Just a little aside, redox actually stands for reductant and oxidants. That's where the name came from, reductant and oxidants. And fundamental for the immune system, protecting against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. Let me just repeat that. It's kind of topical, I think, at the moment. Fundamental for the immune system, protecting against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. Very significant breakthrough. Thanks, Stevie. Next slide. So this is what I was referring to a little bit earlier. A lot of people ask me, if I already make these redox molecules now, why do I need to supplement? Why do I need to, drink more of them if I'm already making them? And the answer to that is that we maximize these redox signaling molecules at puberty. It's anywhere between 13 and 15. And then past puberty, we drop production about 1% per annum. So every decade, we drop production 10%. And it kind of explains why, if a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old who falls over and cuts themselves and hurts themselves, heals very much faster than somebody who's in their 70s that might fall over, or 80s and falls over and cuts themselves, scratches themselves, and takes a lot longer to heal, a lot longer to get well. And a lot of the reason that is because they lack the redox signaling molecules. So now we are able to, since 2010 and 2016 here in Australia, able to top up on these redox signaling molecules so that we can carry on like teenagers. So incredible breakthrough, and incredible we can actually top up on these redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. There's a lot of peer-reviewed articles, a lot of books. In fact, I think those numbers are well out of date. I now think there's over 2,000 books. I'm told it's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, area of health science, health and wellness science, understanding the redox signaling molecules, the significance of the redox signaling molecules. There's hundreds and hundreds of articles. A very good site for you to go and look at if you want to do some research. There's two sites, generic sites, if you want to go and do your own research. One is called PubMed, P-U-B, med.gov. It's an American website, stands for public medicine. And the other one is Google Scholar. Please don't just use Google. Google's a search engine. It's not a research engine, and people can put whatever they like on the Google. So you'll get some interesting information. But of course, there's probably a lot of people out there, a lot of companies maybe that would not be so excited for this to become mainstream. You can kind of connect those dots yourself, I'm sure. For decades, scientists have tried to produce these molecules outside of the body because of their significance, significant importance for health and vitality. And again, as I mentioned before, when Virtus started with the technology, when he bought the technology, he started calling scientists from UCLA, from Harvard, Stanford, MIT, and every single one without fail said, Virtus, you'll never do it. One of them got a bit cranky with him, stomped his hand on the table and said, look, Virtus, you are wasting your time. You'll never be able to stabilize these molecules. One of the best analogies I've ever heard of why that was deemed so impossible is that it's like taking an empty jar, and if you take the lid off the empty jar and you go and get a couple of flints, remember when we were kids, you kind of make sparks with two flints, strike two flints together. It'd be like me saying, okay, I've got these two flints, I'm going to strike these, make these sparks, hold them in the jar, put the lid on the jar, because tomorrow I need to light a fire somewhere. And you'd say, well, that's impossible, you can't do that. And that's exactly what Virtus was told by the scientist. Excuse me, he said, you'll never be able to stabilize these molecules. And it took the atomic medical physicist to be able to do that. Excuse me just a second. Thanks, Stevie. And so after 2 decades and many millions of dollars, I'm told it was about $17 million of research dollars, CS scientists, excuse me, managed to produce stabilized redox molecules in perfect balance. exactly as found in the healthy cells. Thank you. ASEA patented the production process, and as I mentioned several times, the only company in the world that produces these products. And when I first met Vertus Norton, it was back in late 2014, and he mentioned the patents on the product. He said they were rolling forward 20 years. At the end of the meeting, I said to him, oh, excuse me, I said, Vertus, I said, so what happens at the end of 20 years? And he kind of smiled at me and put his arm around me. And he said, Mel, don't worry. He said, we're rolling them forward. They've got layered patents, and then they're rolling the layered patents forward. So it'll be a very long time before anybody gets close to this technology. And by the time that happens, we will have the world markets. That's our aim. This is the facility. This is in Pleasant Grove. We actually visited this facility in 2014. And this is in this plant alone, this one plant. This can scale easily to $1 billion. They can do that in a couple of weeks. Last year, I think I mentioned, we turned over 173 million US dollars. This plant can scale to $1 billion. They've also got the block next door. So this company can scale very quickly to billions of dollars worth of business. One of the keys with this understanding this technology is that every fourth batch that is produced by ASEA, every fourth batch is produced and is tested by this company called BioAgilytix. And BioAgilytix is an independent laboratory. Oftentimes people say to me, well, how do I know it's redox signaling molecules? There's many ways why you will know it's redox signaling molecules. But one of the most important ones in terms of validation is this company BioAgilytix works for 20 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies in the world, and they test every fourth batch that ASEA produces to guarantee, to verify that they are full of bioactive redox signaling molecules. So it's a very significant part of verifying that what we have in these bottles is bioactive redox signaling molecules. Thanks, Stevie. So this is the gentleman that managed to stabilize the redox signaling molecules. And I met this man initially in 2014. In fact, in the boardroom, I sat next to him and introduced myself to him. I didn't know who he was when I first met him, of course. I was just there to look at this technology, mainly for health reasons. And a very nice human being, very humble man, very, very clever man. In fact, many believe he's a genius. I think he's a genius. And this is what he says about the redox molecules. He says the redox signaling process is remarkable because it is a process that allows us to regenerate tissue and maintain our normal function and capacities. This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we've ever seen. Very big statement. He was interviewed, must be about a year ago now. And in that interview, he said that he feels now that this is potentially the most significant health breakthrough and health advance for the next 100 years, not the last 100 years, the next 100 years. And I remember when I sat next to him in the boardroom all those years ago, he said, many of us feel this is the most significant health breakthrough since penicillin. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, that's a very big statement. And my brain was kind of doing gyrations around what he said. And, I don't come from a medical background. And I started to think, well, hang on, if an atomic medical physicist, and I believe that only 6 of them in the world made a statement like that, and he's certainly not prone to misspeaking himself. He's certainly not a man that would do that. I kind of thought, well, what if what he's saying is actually true? And we have the ability, the opportunity of delivering this technology to market. So it is an incredible opportunity for us. Thank you, Stevie. This is a man, I believe his name is Dr. Moran. He's a veterinarian from America, and he wanted to see whether the gel would improve the features of his face, the skin, and so he just used it on half the face. He did this, I believe, for about 2 or 3 months, and then his wife said, look, you look ridiculous now. So start using it all over your face. But you can see clearly that the side of the face that he was using the product on, his right-hand side of face, left of screen, I always look at the glasses, and it's almost like the glasses are leaning. They're actually dropping on the left-hand side of his face. It's almost like he's got Bell's palsy on that side of his face, but he doesn't do that anymore. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, we're free to go on. Thank you. So this is just, wrinkles. But this is a very fast result. Not everybody sees a result this quickly. This gentleman used the Renew 28 twice a day for 3 days, and then once a day for 3 days. You know, most people see results between 30 and 90 days. You know, please, when you decide to take this product, please be fair to the product. The protocols after 10 years are very clear. We have about 10%, 5 to 10% of people that see results within days. I wasn't one of those, but I've known a number of people that responded within a matter of hours, but many within days. And about 5 to 10% respond to the technology in a few days. 30% will respond, will see a result in 30 days, about 60% in 60 days, and about 90% in 90 days. And then there's about 10% that might take some time longer than 90 days. My dear old auntie who lives in the Blue Mountains, it was 4.5 months before she got the breakthrough that she was hoping for. And so it was longer. I explained that to her. So sometimes it can take longer for people. It depends on what you're dealing with. It depends on how long you've had the problem. So it can take longer than that. But generally people see results in 30 to 90 days. Thanks, Stevie. Again, you can see the visible evidence of the change in this young man. He's very excited, obviously, with the change. And this was actually the condition. I won't mention it, but this was the condition when I went to Utah to look at this technology originally. And I mentioned I went for health reasons. This was a challenge that I had been dealing with for many, many years. And this is why I went to look at this technology for health reasons only, as well as a friend of mine, Danny Doyle. Both of us were there just to look at the health benefits to see whether this could help us for different reasons. My friend Danny was really struggling with a very severe illness, and I was struggling with an autoimmune problem. And this is the one that I had. I believe that changed, that photo before and after, is about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Thanks, Stevie. Interesting, this is a lady who has some blemishes, as you can see, the before shot on the left and after. And most people just kind of look inside the square, but have a look at her neck. Look at the 9 lines on her neck on the left-hand side of the photo, and then the right-hand side of the photo. A lot of people miss that, but it's as impressive, I think, as the blemishes disappearing. Thanks, Stevie. So these are independent clinical studies. On the left-hand side, these are studies conducted by Stevens and Associates, which is a US-based company. And on the right-hand side, which was on the serum, a company called Dermatest. This is a German company. And Dermatest have given the Renew, the serum, a 5-star rating, and they won't give a 5-star rating to any product if any one of the participants has any kind of problem, any challenge, allergy, allergic reaction. But you know, the numbers speak for themselves. Look at on the numbers, especially on the right, the 100% improvement in fine lines, 95% skin smoothness, radiance. And, you know, after 4 weeks, you know, most people on the trial said they wanted to use the product. I mean, you can understand why when you get results like that. The results are incredible. We have no toxicity in these products, just a phenomenal technology for people who, like myself, like most of us, probably want to, you know, look a little bit younger. So I obviously use this technology. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I've been using this for a couple of years now. So great technology. Thanks, Stevie. So this is the inside out. And what's interesting, the difference, often people ask the difference between the, you know, the supplement, the drink, and the Renew 28, the topical version. Remember, this is a lot stronger. This is stronger than the Redox. But the difference with the two ostensibly is that when you drink the molecules, when you drink the redox signaling molecules, your body will take those molecules to where your body needs them. This technology, as soon as you drink them, it crosses the blood-brain barrier. Your body does not have to work out where to send these molecules, and knows immediately where to send them. But it won't necessarily be where you want them to go. You might have a pain in your wrist, and you think, okay, I want some problems, some challenges here. I want the molecules to go there, but you might have something else going on in your body. So the molecules know where to go. If you have an issue here, if you've got something here that needs to be worked on specifically, then this will target an area specific. That's really the difference between the two. This is very specific, whereas the redox, when you drink the redox molecules, they're going exactly where the body decides to take them. So people that are healthy, they say to me, what benefits will I get? Down the bottom, report less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, less discomfort. You will see a difference. Now, one of the things that I would suggest you do, if you're starting to drink the product and you say, look, I don't feel any substantial change in a short period of time, I know what the doctors in America say, well, then increase the dose. So if you start on the maintenance dose, lift it. So after a week, if you're not feeling anything different, lift the dose. You will feel it. At some point, you're going to feel the changes. You're going to feel the benefits, the health benefits. So just keep doing that, lifting the dose. Thanks, Stevie. Again, for athletes, improves their endurance, strength, recovery, mental stamina. Fantastic for athletes. And in one way or another, we're all athletes. We're all doing life. Most of us have very busy lives these days with children, business, travel. Most of us lead very busy lives. I think a lot busier maybe than 20 years ago, 50 years ago. So we all need some help to, for endurance and stamina these days. Thanks, Stevie. This is a very good link that you can watch. athletes.aseaglobal.com. Lots of very significant testimonials you can see from a lot of leading athletes that are using with their testimonials and the benefits that they've gained from using redox signaling molecules. Just as an aside, you can't be tested for this. It's not a drug. It won't show up on any test. You can't. How can? It's already in your body. It's native to the human body, so it's not a drug. So it can't be tested for it. So it's ideal for athletes. Thanks, Stevie. This is interesting. This came from an article from Huffington Post in around June 2016. And 5 of the craziest game-changing technologies. And you can see number 4 is redox signaling technology. And let me just read that. It says redox signaling molecules have been around for eons, but it isn't until recently that we've learned about their central importance in our health on a cellular level. New technologies are emerging that inserts healthy redox signaling molecules into your body, helping to repair and replenish your aging cells. Since we are made up entirely of cells, every organ in the body can potentially benefit from this new technology. From ASEA, the only company in the planet that produces these redox signaling molecules. And I've mentioned that a number of times because it is incredibly significant that we don't have any competitor, that we're the only ones that produces this technology. Thank you, Stevie. All right, let me just kind of go into the business part of this for those of you that are interested in monetizing this business. And you can generate serious income in a business like this, very serious income. I think for most people, probably that would mean, somewhere in the 6 figures of passive income. It's possible to earn 7 figures. With ASEA, there's a number of people around the world that are generating 7-figure income with this company. And I believe, this is Malcolm Sword saying this, nobody else is saying this, maybe not, but I believe probably in the next 5 years, we'll start to see a number of associates with an 8-figure income, especially as we reach into a number of these very large Asian markets over the coming years. Thanks, Stevie. So you make referrals with a business like this. It's just communicating with people exactly as you would if you went to a restaurant and liked it, go to a movie, you liked it, you recommend the opportunity, you recommend the technology, and it really is just a word of mouth business. And so that's how we create income. Often people ask me, well, how do you create income with a business like this? Well, we create income on volume. So the more volume that we create around the world, the more income that we get paid. Now, there's a structure to that. There's a model to that. The person who invited you to come to this webinar can explain that to you. It's not complicated. It really is about volume and about creating numbers. So if you develop a community, a group of 10 people, then you'll earn a little bit of money. If you create a community of 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000, then you can imagine that you'll get paid an awful lot of money based on the volume of the goods, the product that's moving through that organization. And so when people ask me, what do? I say, I create distribution channels for a US biotech company. That's really what we get paid to do, is create these distribution channels. And so we deal with people. It's about referring people, and we all know people. Some are looking for a health breakthrough, some are looking for a money breakthrough, and we just connect with those people. We can share that with you, how to do that. It's not that complicated. It's just about being able to communicate with people. Thanks, Stevie. This is what we call, once you build this properly, this is what we call residual income. I don't doubt that everybody on this call would like to have residual income. And that means an income that goes on even if you don't work. It's like if you had 50 houses that you owned outright with no mortgages, with no debt, and they were all rented out, you'd have that income coming in every single week, and you might need somebody to pick up the rent and maintain the properties, but the rest of the income is yours. That's what we call a residual income. In a business like this, to get to the residual income properly, it's going to take you somewhere between, let's say, between 12 months and 3 years. That's a guide. There have been people that have done it faster. I accept that. But for most of us, for example, for me, it was really like 18, 19 months before I started, creating a significant residual income. But, you can do it faster than that. You can do it, take a little bit longer. It's completely up to you. But once you've got a residual income, it gives you the ability to have some freedom. And if you build it properly, stand aside from the business, and the income will continue to grow. If you've built it properly, it will do that. Thanks, Stevie. So you'll also be paid from the people your contacts refer. So this is what I was saying. It's based on volume. Their friends tell their friends, tell their friends, and so on. And the connectivity these days is global. I've watched in the 4 years that I've been associated with ASEA now, the way this works, the reach of people today because of technology. It's easy for people to know somebody in Malaysia, who knows somebody in Singapore, who knows somebody in Hong Kong, who knows somebody in Los Angeles, who knows somebody in Europe, who knows somebody in France or Germany or Italy. We're a global society now, very much a global society. And you'll find as you develop your ASEA business, that your business within a relatively short period of time, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, will be in many, many countries around the world, as it's happened in my own case. And so you can earn residual income from over 35 countries now, growing every single year. And in this way, we're building distribution channels, as I mentioned before, around the world. And the channels start, they start with us, and then we introduce one person, and they introduce somebody, or 3 or 5 or 10. Some people are very ambitious, some are less ambitious. Some people want $500 a month, as I mentioned before, and some people want to make $500 an hour. And so people want $500 an hour would create more volume and would put more effort in than somebody that says, I want $500 per month. Each to their own. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a smorgasbord. You take out of this exactly what you want. As you look at an opportunity like this, you'll be able to take out of this exactly what you want for your family. Excuse me. So we have distribution channels operating in America, in Europe, and of course, the one that we're in, the Asian market, which I believe will be the largest in the world. And when I say that to people, they say, why do you say that? Well, it's the largest population base in the world. There's over half of the world population is in Asia. And it's called Australasia for a reason. It's our territory. Most of us know people living in Asia. Thanks, Stevie. So what you do is completely up to you, as I mentioned just now. Business is designed to do part-time around your existing schedule. Generally, when you begin a business like this, and when I started a number of years ago, about 10 to 15 hours is part-time. That's about the part-time commitment when you start building a business like this. Look, you can start on a little bit less, but it'll be a little bit slower. But 10 to 15 hours a week in a business like this is ideal to start your business going. As in any business, there's a cost of getting started. This is not capital-based. No barrier to entry, $60 to open your account in this country. And there are various product packages. I won't go through those this evening, but there are various product packages that you can acquire as you enroll, as you open your account here with ASEA. 8 ways to earn income. There's a very good link that you can watch on the compensation plan. If you go to Amazing Molecules Training, excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat. If you go to amazingmoleculestraining.com, there's a very good link there on the compensation plan by Alan Noble, explain the 8 ways of generating income. I encapsulate it by saying, ultimately, it's about creating volume. The more volume you create, the more income that you'll create. Thanks, Stevie. So here are a number of trips that are available this year. These are some reward trips, if you like, for people building the business. These are on top of the incomes that you can generate with ASEA. So if you like to travel, most of us do like to travel. Most of us like to travel even more when it's fully paid for. And these trips are, if you've qualified at the right level, they're completely paid for. And so we get to see some incredible places through the course of this year. Look, the Bora Bora experience, really for most of you, Won't be on the radar this year. It's kind of like its qualification period, probably going to be a little bit tight, unless you know something that I don't. But these trips are every year, not Bora Bora, not these destinations, but different destinations every year. Thanks, Stevie. All right, let's just go into a little bit of the training. It's a very simple business. It's not a complicated business. One of the keys in building a business like this is that you build it with people that will help you. So one of the things we don't do is we don't open your account and say, good luck, I hope you make it. Because in most cases you won't. You will need help. You'll need to find somebody to kind of guide you. Thanks, Stevie. You know, to hold your hand and to help you. And there's quick start training. You can see here on the right-hand side, the various levels in the business. So we all start at the same place. We all start as an associate, and we climb the mountain. And as I mentioned before, climb the mountain to the level of the income that you want. So, you know, you look at the levels there. If you can look at bronze executive, in this country, $2,500 to $3,000 a month. You can go up to diamond, around $15,000 a month. Triple diamond, anywhere around $30,000, $35,000 a month. And then you go on from there up to the presidential ambassador and presidential ranks. Thanks, Stevie. So when you enroll, when you open your account, you'll get a free back office, a virtual office, and it's very easy to navigate. I'm not very high tech, I'm pretty low tech actually, but the back office is very easy to navigate, learn it, get around it very easily. So it's a very good business tool to understand the business and how your business is doing. Thanks, Stevie. So ASEA will become one of the biggest companies within the health and wellness and anti-aging technologies of all time. I'm sorry, I'm dragging the chain a little bit. So time for action. Quick start training. Let's go through this quickly. So you're looking to identify and refer to people who want to make some changes right now. You know, looking for people that are wanting to monetize this quickly, wanting to change their financial circumstances in a hurry, as I was. You know, 4 years ago, I needed to build this in a hurry. In fact, I started around this time 4 years ago. I decided to go to this event that was coming up this weekend and made my start at that event, and really started building the business as a result of going to that event. So next slide, thank you. So often when you build a business like this, dealing with people, it can take you on a little bit of emotional roller coaster. You know, some people will say yes to you, some people will say no to you. The key is not to take it personally. If I can give you any help in that area, just treat it emotionally neutral. You know, some people are looking to make extra income. Some people are open to looking at income opportunity, and some people are not. Don't be discouraged if they're not. Some are and some aren't. That's kind of the nature of the business and the way that the world is. You know, some people are very happy with their circumstances and some people are very unhappy. Some people are looking to make a change and some people aren't. So just build it emotionally neutral. That's really the idea of showing you that slide. So just build it in the middle ground. When we build a business like this, you come across different types of people, red apples. They're the ones that look at this kind of like I did and said, I get it. I understand the significance. I was ready. So I said, yep, great, let's go. So as we share this with people, some people say, yes, terrific. The green apples want to know questions. That's fine. We can help them answer those questions. And then the rotten apples, they're not rotten people. They're just not looking. They're people that just, you know, happy with where they are and they're not really open to looking at anything, and that's fine. As you build a business like this, you're going to come across all of these, the red apples, green and the red and the nose, the rotten people that are just not interested, not looking, that's fine. No problems at all. So this is exactly what happens as you take this to market. Please don't think for a moment that everybody I contact about this opportunity is a red apple. I wish that would happen. It's not like that. I go through the numbers exactly the same as you'll have to go through the numbers. You know, some will, some are looking, some aren't looking. It really is a sifting and sorting process. Some people think it's a sales process. It's actually not a sales process. It's really just sifting and sorting to find the numbers, to find the people that are actually looking. So it's a simple system. You know, find red apples. I've learned in life that you attract who you are. So what we find is that people that are excited, positive, upbeat, energized, excited about the opportunity tend to find people exactly like that. Red apples find red apples, and then those red apples find red apples. And that's exactly what you want. You want to have leaders finding leaders on leaders on leaders. And in a very short period of time, over the next few years, you'll have red apples all over the world, and your organizations will be growing all over the world. And that's what's happening to many of us as a result of developing this incredible business. So that's exactly how you'd like your businesses to look. But it starts with you. So that you become reds or become a red apple, then you will attract other red apples. That's kind of how it works. So this is the function I was mentioning to you this weekend. If you are able to come to this, I would highly recommend this. If you're sitting on the fence, if you're looking at this and wondering, should I build this? Is this a good idea? Is this the right time? Is this the right place? And if you can come along to this function on the weekend, speak to the person that invited you onto this call, I would strongly recommend. You will meet the owner, you'll meet the president, you'll meet all of the top leaders, the top builders in the country, many of whom are doing incredibly well financially as a result of this. So you'll really get the cream of the cream coming to this function. Everybody that's generating significant income is going to be here for the function this weekend. And then this is the global conference a little bit later on in the year. So a lot of you I know are going to be going to this in Anaheim, California. We have this convention. This is the global convention where we bring all the leaders from around the world together. A very exciting event in September. Thanks, Stevie. So what now? So call the person that invited you onto this webinar. If you want more information, they'll be happy to supply you with more information, more links. For those of you that are looking at this as an enterprise, the entrepreneurs amongst you, if after we finish here, if you go to YouTube and put in the YouTube Transformational Technology and ASEA, it's one of the best short links. It only runs for about 5 minutes, but it speaks directly to the opportunity, directly to the window of opportunity that we have with this technology. And so look, it's been a great pleasure to share. That's concluded. I apologize, I went a little bit longer than I was hoping. But thank you very much for joining us. Stevie, thank you very much for hosting this, and very much look forward to seeing a lot of you this weekend at the Envision conference on the Gold Coast. But thank you, Stevie, very much for hosting this again. I really appreciate you doing that for me. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. I want to thank you very much, Mel, and I'm sure with confidence I can say that on behalf of everyone on the call as well. So thank you again, and everybody on the call, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And get back to the person who introduced you here, and we hope to meet you soon at one of our very exciting events. Thank you. Bye for now.